This is Nikki. I'm Nick.
And together we're Nikki.
No, we're not doing it that. No, we're not using that voice.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikki.
I'm Nick.
And together we're Nikki Nick.
We're Nikki Nick.
Yes, today we're going to be watching Jane Animations. Yay! I'm really excited about this.
I never actually watched any of her
We
stuff.
haven't watched any of her stuff besides the redrawing.
Yes.
The one with the odd ones out. I'm super excited because like I said, we said we were gonna get into her, and this is gonna be like the start of our videos because we plan on watching more of her. We just love the animated.
I'm a huge animation fan.
Yeah, so we're gonna start adding her to our list. But
anime,
today,
cartoons, whatever.
Yeah, but today we're going to be watching things I feel guilty about.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This is gonna be a great topic of discussion at the end.
Exactly.
So.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Are
so
you
ready? Yeah.
Here you go.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. You know
Where's
how
the birdie?
in my last video I said I was an obedient child who never stepped out of line or broke rules growing up? I wasn't lying, but I do have things I've secretly carried on my shoulders for a long time and still feel arguably guilty about to this day. This video isn't just for your entertainment. It's gonna serve as me clearing my conscience and finally being free from these chains of guilt. Also, don't get your hopes up. None of these stories involve murder. Sorry, I didn't kill anyone. Every once in a while growing up, my dad would let us sit in front of the television while we ate dinner. That would be a special treat for my brother and me because Mom wasn't home from work yet and she wouldn't let us watch TV in a week. This is when we were really young, by the way. Don't worry. I'm allowed to eat in front of the TV at least 3 days a week now. We were eating in front of the TV one night and I wanted to have chips for dessert. Our dinner rules were always eat dinner and then get a little treat or dessert afterwards. And I wanted chips. Everyone's favorite dessert. So my dad got the bag of chips, and normally my parents poured us bowls, but there wasn't much left, so he just gave me the whole bag and said, don't eat them all. He got 2 cool parent points that day. It was going good so far, eating chips in front of the TV.
This is the height of luxury!
I looked down, and I
John
ate all the chips.
Oh my gosh.
Dang it! What do? My dad gave me
Look what
one
you've
rule.
started.
My parents are never gonna trust me ever again. They're gonna disown me. My life is over. I'm gonna be living in a box on the side of the road and I'll have to search trash cans for chips. I might as well pack my things and get a head start right now. I started to panic and my little kid brain started racing to think of some sort of way to avoid punishment. A rat! A giant rat burst through the door, slapped the bag out of my hand, ate all the chips, and escaped out the window.
All right.
And also stole an extra cookie on its way out. No, they wouldn't believe that. I don't think rats eat chips. I finished eating early and went into the backyard to play. So what I ended up doing was going, Jax, do you want some chips? And I gave him the empty bag. Then I went over to my dad and said, Dad, I have something to tell you. I'm sorry. Jax ate all the chips. And I went into my room and hid. I really don't think my brother got into any trouble because I didn't hear anything else about it and my dad probably just threw the bag away. But since I never got caught or came clean, I've held this guilt about that whole situation ever since. There's layers to it. Not only did I lie to my dad and falsely accuse my brother, but on top of it all, I gave Jax an empty bag of chips. A perfect little regret cherry on the ice cream sundae of shame. And I really think that when my dad and brother watch this video, they'll be
look
like,
exactly the same.
I don't remember this at all. Because I want to say it was like 13 years ago, which makes me feeling guilty even more pointless and stupid because it doesn't even matter and no one cares and I'm the only one suffering from it. This is a pretty effective way to learn a lesson. I've never finished a bag of chips since that day. I was at recess in 2nd grade playing by myself in the grass. You know, like a freaking loser. This group of girls came up to me and said, hey, we're playing tag and chasing the boys. You should help us. And I was like, well, beats sitting here and getting eaten by ants. So I started running around and chasing the boys with the rest of the kids. It was all normal tag at first, but somehow it started escalating to extreme tag. Extreme as in people started throwing rocks.
Oh,
Being a
snap.
self-conscious child who had no understanding of personal choices, I was like, oh, well, I guess we're doing this now. So I threw a rock and hit this kid in the back of the head, which, may I add, took some top-notch skill and coordination,
killed him.
considering we were both running and he was a good distance away from me. Not to brag or anything. Ow! I'm telling... Oh, frick. I watched this kid start running off to tell a teacher, and I knew I had to think of something fast. And don't tell me I should have just stood there and faced the consequences of my actions. You know, as a kid, you wouldn't have done that. This only works if we're all honest with ourselves here. The first thing I could think of was to go hide in the bathroom, because everyone knows Teachers can't burst into kids using bathroom stalls. That is definitely illegal and weird. I camped out in the girls' bathroom until I heard the recess whistle and went back to class.
Aw.
Obviously, the teacher was told what happened. I couldn't have run away from that, so I still got in trouble. But the guilt trip doesn't end there. The teacher told me I wasn't allowed to go to recess tomorrow, which is reasonable. I can own up to that punishment. But she also said I needed to write a letter to my parents telling them what I did. I don't know
That's
what
always
pushed
the
me to do
worst.
this because I always did what grown-ups said, but something in my head told me,
Don't.
you're not writing that letter. And so I didn't. Later that day, the teacher came up to me and asked, did you write the letter?
Yes.
Yes. Please don't ask to see it. Please don't ask to see it. Good. And so my parents never found out. Until right now. In this video. Please don't ground me, Mom and Dad. I don't know the statute of limitations on throwing rocks at little boys, but it's
The
been 8
statute of
years.
limitations.
I think I'm safe. I'm not
She's
really
fine, you're
guilty
fine.
about this next story, but it's resonated within me for a very long time, so I'm gonna add it to this video. One late night, I was on the couch playing my Game Boy.
I'm so captivated
and it was
right now.
very much
Yeah,
past my
all
bedtime.
Game Boy.
I don't remember exactly what happened, but I was probably pushing it with wanting to stay up a bit longer, and my mom was in my room telling me I needed to go to bed. It got to the point where she pulled the, I'm gonna count to 3, and you better have the living room cleaned up and
My mom
be in
doesn't count
bed
to 3.
or else. Everyone knows counting to 3 means serious business,
Yep.
so I sprung up and immediately started getting my crap together. The thing was, the ottoman was pushed out, and normally it's supposed to be against the couch, so I had to push it back. But being a scrawny 5-year-old the size of a poodle meant it was probably equivalent to trying to push a semi-truck. I kept pushing and pushing with all my strength as I heard my mom in the background going, 1, 2... Eventually, I just crumbled to the ground in defeat and started crying, and my mom found me on the floor curled up next to the ottoman. I felt guilty I couldn't move the ottoman. But hey, you don't need to feel bad for me. Look at me now. Yeah, it's pretty inspiring. So yeah, those are the types
they
of
both
things
do
my
the same
brain
thing.
flashes back to when I'm wanting to feel guilty. For the record, I've not thrown a rock at anyone else ever since. I've got a pretty good thrown rocks to not thrown rocks ratio going on.
There you
Also,
go.
thank you to everyone who's been sending me happy birthday messages. That was very nice of you. You can see
Aw.
here I'm trying to squish in as much art as I can because I got so much, it's crazy. Watch this. And with the power of editing, boosh! 2 conveyor belts of art. Oh,
Conveyor
look at
belts
them
of
all,
art.
sliding across the screen like they've got somewhere to be. See you later, little buddies. Thank you for drawing me things. It's awesome, and I like it a lot. My birthday is September 27th, so a couple days ago. I'm 20 now. Did I do
Oh,
anything?
she's 20.
No. I'm not the biggest person on doing or planning things for
Me
my
either.
birthday. For some reason, I feel selfish celebrating it. It's... I don't know, my brain's weird. I know that thought process is kind of ridiculous, and I love celebrating other people's birthdays. I just have trouble celebrating me. But some of my friends got me gifts and made me feel special, so that's nice of them. Anyway, thanks for watching the videos. I'm 20 now. I'll talk to you later. I'm hanging up now. Bye.
I'm hanging up
Bye.
now. Bye. I didn't say
Aw.
bye, and she just hung up. Bye.
That was really cute. I like that. I think it's really cute the fact that she feels guilty over like the cutest, tiniest things, because it's just like not be able to move the ottoman.
Do you
But
have stuff like that?
But yeah, I mean, of course, like as a
No,
kid.
you don't remember anything as a kid.
I remember some things. I have a story where I felt really, I still to this day, I feel guilty. And it's the day that I lied to my dad. And I got in a lot of trouble for it. And it was the last time that I lied to my dad because the punishment was I got quite a few spankings and I was really little. And it was, I guess, the day after Easter, and I wanted Easter candy for breakfast. I wanted chocolate, and I was little, so that wasn't supposed to happen. So I went to go get it, and I guess my dad came in. Like I remember this. My dad came in. He was just like, "What you doing?" And I'm just like, "Getting chocolate." And he's like, "Who's letting you have chocolate this morning?" And then I was just like, "My mom." And I guess my mom heard me.
Oh, I
From
heard
the
about
top
you told me the
floor.
story.
From the second floor, and she was just like, "What did she just say?" And then my dad was just like, "She said that you gave her permission to eat chocolate." And she was just like, "I did no such thing." And then my dad picked me up and he swatted me a few times and I was crying and I handed him to the table and I regret that deeply. But I guess it made me learn a lesson not to lie to my dad. Because that's one thing he does not like, is being lied to. So.
Poor thing.
Eh.
You got your boom boom smack.
Yeah, you boom boom. Oh. Yeah, that's only ever happened once.
None of my.
Usually the 1, 2, 3 thing counts. Counting like what works. Like with me and my brother when we were little. Even now, and my brother is like 20, and that still works for him. It's just like something bad's gonna happen when you get to 3. So I'm not even kidding. My mom will go.
I was one of those.
I'll count to 3.
I really
1.
wish she knew me as a kid. I would test that.
Really?
I'd run. I'm not kidding. Well, they didn't swat any of us. None of me and my other 2 siblings. We never. They just didn't do that.
Yeah.
Time out or yelled at. My dad can just use his voice.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
But I would test my mom, and I would literally run around the table, and she would chase me around the table. Can't catch me, so.
So you're good.
But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really.
That's one thing that I feel really guilty about.
Something I
That's
felt
a story.
really, really, really guilty about one time was, I was watching a video on how to make dry ice bombs. It's like you buy dry ice. Okay. Actually, I'm not going to tell you. Well,
don't tell them.
I'm not going to tell you guys how to do it. But what happened was I thought it would be a little like a firework, but we made 2 of them, put it out into the lawn, and this thing, it sounded like a reenactment war cannon going off. Like, oh my god, it was the loudest. It sounded like a real bomb. Like, oh my god. I freaked out and it exploded. And then it's like, oh my god! And I ran and I unfused the last one. And then there's 2 kids that live next door, and their mom heard it and came over and got them in trouble. And then I was like, but my dad was screaming. He was so mad.
At you?
Yeah.
Who else did you do? Was it just yourself?
And that other guy that's longer.
Gotcha.
No longer with us.
With us.
No longer with us.
He's still alive though, so don't worry, guys.
Darn. But it was the scariest moment.
So that's the one thing you regret the most.
Oh,
As
there's
a
probably
kid?
a list.
As a kid, yeah. Now
No,
I would
as a
have to-
kid, I think that was not that long ago.
Oh really?
Like 3 years ago.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you weren't a kid.
No.
Oh, I'm
I
talking
still
about like
do
as
stuff
a
like
kid.
that.
Yeah,
I
you do.
can't believe. Oh, that just gave me it freaked me. I had no idea it would be like that.
That loud.
That was incredible. Surprised it didn't. Oh my god.
I don't think I regret that much though. Or well, I guess feel guilty about that much, Because I feel like when I was a kid,
I did
when you're
tell
a
you,
kid, you're a kid.
I did bounce a rock and it shattered the sliding glass door when I was like 5.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing shattered. Ran into my house. Tried to hide under the bed, but it was too narrow. So
Yeah.
I just like. They're like, oh my god, we gotta pay for that. Why'd you do that? And I was like,
Aw, this
I
is
didn't
just an
mean to.
accident. Yeah.
Well, I literally threw a rock on the ground, and I
bounced
guess it
off.
was actually like a piece of clay.
Clay, yeah.
I don't know if that glass was made out of paper. Like, how did that do that? From
Yeah.
a 5-year-old throwing it on the ground that popped up and just shattered, and it's like,
Oh, that sucks. Okay, now that I guess I'm thinking about it, I do feel guilty about
I'm sorry
some
guys,
stuff.
we got a lot of stories now.
I know, right? I was running around with my uncle.
How long
and-
was this video? Oh, it was 7 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
my
I thought I said 3. I was like, we've been talking for 11 minutes.
No, it's okay. I feel like talking.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. I
We should
feel
just
like
have like a discussion episode.
I feel like I keep saying no, it's okay, but it's just like I'm not.
We should have
them.
episodes where we just discuss
We just talk
things.
about us being guilty about things. We should do that.
That's not what I meant. I meant topics of discussion.
Now, well, yeah, I guess that too. But I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I do have quite a few stories when I was little that I do feel guilty. But I feel guilty because I feel like I was blamed for things that I took the blame for a lot of things, and then I felt guilty for doing the thing that I didn't do. But I won't get into it.
I think it's funny. I was about to tell them how to make a bomb.
Yeah, let's
It's not hard.
not share that with
It's not hard, guys.
with the class.
Don't look it up. But
Don't look it up.
Don't look. Like seriously though, like It's not what you expect. I did not expect it to be like that.
Well, it's a bomb, so.
I
Anyway.
didn't know it. It didn't emphasize the B word. I thought it'd be like firecracker.
You needed
Not
to-
like, oh
you-
hey,
You
let's
need
go.
to say super mega bomb.
It's gonna sound like a war cannon outside.
This is gonna be a war zone when it's over.
Close.
But anyway, I really like that one, so we're gonna keep watching Jade Animations. And if you guys have any suggestions of videos of her, please leave them in the comments below. If you guys want to see more of us, make sure to check out the description box below, like our Snapchat, Instagram, and make sure to subscribe.
And as always, thanks for watching the Sport. We love you guys. Bye. Bye.